This is insane. This isn't strategy.
That's the end game. How are you guys planning on beating that? Together. We'll lose. And we'll do that together too.
Guys, I found yesterday when we were playing Twitch, Ralph was just being unfair.
We were playing Twitch, everyone. You now play Twitch. You play it.
Yeah, you no longer play games, you just play Twitch.
Okay.
I found that Ralph was being very unfair. Speaking of unfair, what a segment, what a segue, everybody.
What a segment.
What a segment.
You're failing English.
Me fail English? That's impossible.
We're talking about unfairness in games. There's all sorts of ways to be unfair. It could be cheating. It could be...
Did you hit the mic then? I swear you touched the mic when you did that.
Did I touch the mic, everybody?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you. I've been physically abused in the ear.
There's all sorts of ways to be cheating, everybody. There could be cheats. There could be you just...
There's lots of ways to cheat. There's cheats.
There's cheats.
Allow myself to introduce.
There's also, of course, the use of a mouse and keyboard when everyone else has a controller.
That's true, I agree with that. And that actually has been a bit of an issue for a while, but it turns out it's going to be a much bigger issue now, because it's very likely that Microsoft are about to release an official keyboard and mouse, and we've got some things to say about that. Stop with the finger pointing as well.
I like the finger pointing.
There's a lot of finger pointing lately. Poke it with a stick.
Yeah.
Jimbo killed him?
No. But he
died of ligma.
Here's the background to all this, right? For a long time now, we've been playing console games on controllers, okay? That's fine. Over the years, we've had some opportunity to use a keyboard and mouse in very specific circumstances when playing games, okay?
Sure.
Most recently, for example, Fortnite has native keyboard and mouse support on the PS4, for example. It's not optimized for it. It kind of feels a bit funky when you do it. I haven't done it personally, but everyone says like, oh, you can do it, but it kind of sucks. But that's the thing, right? You can do that. What's more prevalent is people using keyboard and mouse using adapters, like Cronus Max, for example.
Yep.
That allows you to plug a keyboard and mouse into like an Xbox, for example, or something called a Zim, which basically simulates the, keyboard and mouse input.
Yep.
So they work pretty well, and apparently they provide a good experience that's pretty close to using a keyboard and mouse.
Good experience for the people using the keyboard and mouse.
Exactly.
Not a good experience for people that are sitting there getting, 20 deaths to 1 kill.
It's not about what I want. It's about what's fair!
I used to play a lot of the Division. If you go to any Division video, the comment section will be spammed with people complaining about keyboard and mouse use in the Dark Zone, because it provides a really big advantage.
Yep.
I'm sure a lot of other games suffer this as well, where people have started using this stuff and it pisses people off and whatever else, right?
Yeah.
But it's been fairly niche at this point because it's not officially supported and the games aren't optimized for it. So that means there's a bit of lag and a bit of, it's a bit shitty, okay?
I would usually say it's downright unfair. If you're playing on a console, let everyone have an equal playing field and just play with the controller. But sadly, times they are a-changing, sadly.
Well,
now,
specifically as well, we've heard recently that Razer is working on an official keyboard and mouse for the Xbox. So it's called the Razer Turret. And that's an official partnership between the two.
Yeah.
And I think what's going to happen next month is that Xbox has teased new hardware announcements at Gamescom.
Yep.
Hardware and accessories. And given all this momentum behind these rumors, given the fact that Razer's working on this thing, in secret, and given the fact that that Xbox has said, hey, we've got some stuff coming at Gamescom, it's very likely we can expect full sort of keyboard and mouse controller support at Gamescom for the Xbox very soon.
yeah, and the reason I say times are a-changing because it's the first time we're really seeing crossplay. That is it, guys.
Oh, well, hang on. Let's pause that, though, because I agree that that's important, right? But the core, I think before you think about crossplay, you need to ask, should this actually happen at all? Should consoles actually have keyboard and mouse as an option?
I think it's a chicken or the egg situation. I think we've got crossplay now. Should it be happening because of crossplay, or...
We don't really have much crossplay, though. That's the thing.
But it's happening more and more.
It's
Fortnite's
sort of
happening now, and PUBG is happening now.
Oh, it is happening on the Switch and the Xbox.
It is, exactly.
Sure.
All PUBG, and then there's the mobile versions with crossplay. And what I'm saying is, was it always going to be, is it going to happen anyway?
Well, let's pretend that there's no crossplay.
Okay. No
should,
crossplay.
should it happen regardless? Because crossplay obviously
Then
means that you are
absolutely
going
not.
to be. It shouldn't happen.
Absolutely not. It should be an even playing field. Everyone should be able to use console controllers, and everyone should have no advantage whatsoever, especially in games like first-person shooters.
Okay, so
I mean,
what
it's
about-
a very
what-
equal playing. I was just going to say the mechanics and the coding usually makes it a very equal playing field. So the moment you actually use a different type of control to get an advantage, the whole coding and the whole balancing system is fucking a moot point.
What
It's a moot point.
about a joystick in a flight sim? Should I be allowed to use that?
That's a specific type of game, and you're looking for a realistic approach to flight simulation. It's a different thing.
It does make it easier to play those games. What about a racing wheel in a racing game?
It doesn't make it easier to play. I would say no.
What about
I would say no.
Donkey Konga bongos in Donkey Kong? Okay, should we be allowed to use Donkey Konga bongos?
Okay, well that's a different thing entirely again, because what we're really doing there is not really playing competitive play. But
Yes, yeah, it's very competitive.
Okay, it
It's
is
a big
very competitive.
esport.
Okay, we're going to be doing that on live Twitch one day. We're going to be
Correct.
twitching that. Okay,
That's right.
Again, I think it's all about how is it affecting the other players. That's all that really matters. If
right.
it's not affecting the other players, do whatever you want. But if everyone else is paid $60 for a game,
Okay.
let them experience that in an equal playing field.
Let's up the intensity of this.
Here we go.
questioning.
Over 9,000.
What about those controllers that have like the button where you hold it down and it simulates you pressing it really fast?
Oh yes. All the ones
Should
that
I
come
be-
now with the bottom bit, so you can
Scuff,
put.
scuff controls
Yes.
are a perfect example. Now, do I
Yes.
have a scuff with this? No,
Yes,
I don't.
we-
Oh, no,
oh.
wait. I have this custom controller, which is actually made for my
Terrible.
channel.
Look at how bad that
This
logo
is. This is my old logo and this company made a controller with my old logo. Now, this controller actually has like buttons on the back. It actually only has one, but anyway. But there's scuff controllers, for example, which allow you to, instead of having to take your hand off the right joystick to be able to press, or thumbstick, to be able to press a button, you
Yeah.
can use back paddle,
Yeah.
so you have an advantage. Those controllers are allowed,
Sure.
and they provide a huge bonus a benefit in competitive
Huge
first-person
bonus.
shooters.
I don't know if it's a huge bonus, but
Absolutely
it is a
huge.
bonus.
It's
It
huge.
is a
It's-
bonus.
it's huge. It's huge.
It's like a half millisecond difference there in terms of like changing a button. But I understand.
Tell that to Usain Bolt.
I understand that it is a very much a benefit. So you can go as far to say any additional buttons or any additional way in which that you experience that game should be banned. But I'm not going to go that far.
You can't though. It's
exactly.
impossible.
I'm not going to go that far.
And
That's
that's the point.
ridiculous.
It's impossible now with the keyboard and mouse because there are tools that simulate that.
But-
and it's like, well, if some people can get it, it's fair that everyone should get it,
A
right?
keyboard and mouse is different to a controller in very much in like
know
one
that.
in terms of like an extra button on the back compared to a full mouse and keyboard experience.
This is how Sam plays Overwatch.
Yeah, I'm just like
waxing
play
cars.
of the game.
It's every day, bro, with the Disney Channel flow.
But it's a completely different argument. I think it's like
I really don't. I really believe that it's like if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. If some
In
people
some-
can
in-
have that,
yeah.
then everyone has the right to
in
that.
most respects, yes, but with one extra button compared to a whole different way in which you play different things. But when we introduce cross-play, it's a whole different thing again.
I agree, because if you're going to be playing on Xbox and you're going to be going up against people who are playing on PC, for example, Halo 5, that will certainly be the case. We'll be doing that, right? If you're going up against those people and they've got a keyboard and mouse and you're with an Xbox controller, you're going to get wrecked. You're going to want that. You're going to want that. Now, it is possible for Xbox to be able to tell whether or not you're using a keyboard and mouse.
Yep.
And to differentiate that in matchmaking queues.
Sure.
However, that does split matchmaking queues, and that's always don't make that face. Trust me, when it comes to games, especially later in their life cycle when player populations drop,
I agree with
that
that.
sort of stuff becomes a big
But they're
issue.
already doing that with things like PUBG. They split the queues if you want to do first persons or third person. The people are fine with that.
Sure, but that's
people are fine with
yeah,
it.
but there are also like millions of people playing PUBG right now, and I guarantee you later on, if the population
Sure.
drops massively, and,
Sure.
do you know what I mean? So,
Sure.
I don't know. I
would think that I was just gonna say I think a matchmaking system where it leans towards everyone that's playing with controllers, and then it leads towards everyone that's playing with keyboards. That's the way probably to do
You know
it.
what someone will make is a little adapter that tricks your Xbox into thinking that you've got a controller plugged in.
Or you can never
when
win
you
then.
have a keyboard and mouse, and you can never win.
You can
know what
never
I mean?
win.
So I mean, I think it's an inevitability. It does raise some really challenging questions about what this means because a lot of people play console because there's no cheaters, right? A lot of PC games are just rife with cheaters. You don't get that on console, generally speaking.
Yep.
And they play it because the control scheme is fair and equal, and it's less about like that sort of really twitchy mouse-based skill where it's like, oh my god, it's kind of a bit more casual. You know what I mean? Like, it still takes a lot of skill to be really good with a controller. I'm not saying it doesn't, but I think a lot of people just like the comfort and ease of using a controller, sitting on the couch, and being like, we're all just doing this together.
That's right.
And if that is upset by other people having full keyboard and mouse support, just destroying you, that really compromises the experience.
But I agree with that. But I think at the end of the day, when companies are looking that they can make more money and adding crossplay in their idea, maybe it's like, if we add crossplay, the matchmaking will be quicker, and then that means that the experience will be better.
That's true.
And that's probably how they're thinking. But that's probably inevitably going to happen. So the idea of crossplay and this question of, keyboard, mouse, controllers, it was always going to come up. So I think, regardless of what everyone thinks, it's a reality that we all have to live with.
I agree.
Now.
I do
It's a
agree.
reality that we all have to live with.
I think it's just it's a growing pain. You know what I mean? Like, it would be nice if it was never an issue, and if you play on console, you're always playing against people with controllers.
Yeah.
I just don't think that's the reality, and I think companies realize that. They're like, well, we may as well sell the capability for it. People can choose to buy it. I mean, you're gonna have to sit on your couch now with one of those things that have like a plank of wood with your keyboard
Like
and
a
mouse
TV
on it
dinner
like that.
thing.
TV dinner thing. So the days of like lying on your couch like this playing console games, they're done, man. You have to be sitting up like this. Good posture, ready to go. Gaming's not what it used to be, man.
Yeah, it's never
used to
gonna
be
be
such a simple time.
That is it today. Ralph is still crying, but we're going to be on Twitch again playing our favourite game in the world, Game of the Year, people. Don't worry about God of War. It's all about Destiny Poo. We're going to be on there for the next 2 or 3 hours. Please check it out. We'd love to see you there. See you, fam.
Don't forget the Le Monde Gamon merch.
Oh, Le Monde Gamon merch. Check that out too.
Buy that merch, 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 buy that merch.